And then you hear talk, of courtesy and all of this. Now, I would hope not, to come across as a wrathful individual. Like, I would hope not to be abrasive, but I want who I am, the fullness of, who and what I am to be made manifest in its right and appropriate nature, in the wholeness and completion. Now, whether those truths, you know, which aren't exactly evident at this point in time due to the methods and devices, satanic, all of the things that were put into action in order to obscure, to steal, to swindle, to, utterly destroy an individual. These things that I speak on constantly because they are things that are a reality and a vital piece to the puzzle of my life. Not one that I placed into it, but one that was thrown on me, and I was covered in, the substance of this type of thing, whether I willed it or not. And so, me speaking about these things, even as rashly as I'm perceived to have spoken, these things were spoken. These things are not, for any malicious cause or reason. It's only for restoration purposes, and this restoration on a personal level, as well. But see, there's different types of restoration. See, God purposes is bigger than mine. So this right here, all of these things that I can speak on, I could not turn this off and put this on, the back burner. Because when God calls, then what God says goes, and what God wants is way more important than how I feel or what I want. But in the times between, you know, I look, it's all cyclical. Like it all goes together and it ties intrinsically into each other. But I speak these things right here, because it still remains a reality. You know, the persecution, the pain I feel, behind the losses that I had to take, and losses not being actual losses as if they were handed to me, by somebody or something. It's not that kind of loss situation. It's rather just the biblical sense of the enemy, Satan, coming to kill, steal, and destroy. And these are things that that God is restoring in my life. I have to recover from, in my way and in the way God wants me to recover from it. And so don't get no easier, but it gets clearer, and then it gets lighter. The closer to the truth, and then when the truth is, made manifest and things are restored. Because think about this, like all of this, all of the fruit of my labor, and all of the seeds I planted, to be, to become great fruits and things like this, and the blueprints I laid down, so that it can create a atmosphere and like a an oasis of ideas, a garden, of ideas, concepts, and things, which it did, but it didn't do it in a sense that I planned for it to do it, and it did it, but I wanted it to be positive, I wanted it to be good, and these things were taken from me, and then I was buried, buried while my golden eggs were taken, like there's a lot, a lot of aspects to this situation and scenario, there's no way, man. There, misidentification, like it's things, and when I'm told things like, or when I'm implied or things, word curses or false arguments are dropped on me as being me, as if I'm less of a human, less of a man, or less of a person for adamantly pursuing the light, of my life. And I mean, by that I mean truth about my own personal truths, and gathering the pieces of my life, and putting them all together of what's left together and looking for the extra pieces, and so I could put them back into their rightful place, so I could be restored and reestablished back to where I was rightfully supposed to be. You know, I'm shunned for that. You know, and the shunning comes from who couldn't stand in my shoes. You know, so it's you know it's been it's a fiery ordeal. You know, to say the least. You know, it's a fiery ordeal. You know, just in the fullness and entirety of the whole, you know, it's a fiery ordeal. And it's de-emphasized. I predicted de-emphasization coming already. You know, restoration. You know, restoration is due to me. That's all that, you know, that's the consummation of where I was headed to. And it's not me. And it's really, this is just the truth. You know, it's not me coveting somebody else's or what's belong to somebody else. Though that's the cover that will be used to hide, you know, what was actually done. You know, that's never my, you know, that's not even, I'm not interested in what another person has, and especially what the wicked have, because I'm not hitting, I'm not trying to pursue the path to destruction. You know, I want to walk on the straight and narrow. You know, and so I'm not in pursuit of the things of the world in the first place. Therefore, I can't envy, be jealous, or hate on something that's of the world because I live for God. So it wouldn't make any sense. You know, it's conflicting. You know, if I want and pursue God, then why would I, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's been many situations whereas I could have had all the things of the world if I wanted, but I didn't take the things of the world, you know, but rather I chose the Lord. You know, I didn't want sin. You know, I don't want sin. You know, I don't have no appetite for sin. You feel me? So I didn't, you know, that's not my pursuit. So you know, that cancels out any ideas or whatever of me, you know, coveting or hating on something or someone. Rather, I just speak the truth. You know what I mean? Bible tells you, man, the enemy come to kill, steal, and destroy. You know, but God came, and the Lord came, and Jesus came, that may have life and have it more abundantly. You know, you can see how the integration was as to where it's becoming antichrist, because I stand for the Lord, you know, and the Lord is, it stands for truth, light, and righteousness, you know. And if I speak these truths, you know, like as in the fashion I do, and if these truths are damaging to, you know, to what anyone done, you know, as anyone's, you know, bread, you know, or, you know, their own success or something like that, then, you know, that was established on falsehood. That's not my fault. You know, that if I speak the truth of what happened to me, or the truth of where, you know, of what I'm in search of, or why I'm so adamant and vehement, you know, in my pursuit of my own personal truths, you know, as a result of these things, then it's not in no way falling on me, you know, and I'm no way at blame for having, you know, for any any kingdom crumbling or anything of that nature, you know. Rather, it's at fault because it established itself for the okido. You know, it established itself for the downfall. I didn't establish it, you know. It was something that was immoral, unethical, and it wasn't right to begin with, you know. And so when God's light shine, it's not God's fault that something happens, or that his the nature of light is to disperse darkness. That's the common laws of nature. That's like nature, you know. That's the way things are. Normally, if you're in darkness and you cut on the light, then it's not gonna be dark no more. You know, I mean, that's it's like a common sense thing. You know, you can't get mad at the light for the nature of it. You know, for what it is. Like, it's going to have that effect every time, no matter where you at. You know, and that's how the light is. The spiritual light is as well. Just as that's the natural light in the physical world, we relate to that because we can see it. The spiritual light is the same thing. The spiritual light is the word of God. You know, and these things, you know, I would will that they don't be distorted and mixed up, and you know, which is something that happens a lot, But the drive I feel, is in no way driven by motivation, by no kind of selfish ambitions or nothing along that nature. While I'm labeled with these false labels before my case or like my situation or my voice is even heard about, concerning the issue. That rather those are assumptions that's taken and run with, and then those assumptions are what build damaging and destructive things against, what God was trying to do in my life anyway, which was only for good anyway, So when that's done, the only substance that Satan had, because Satan has deceived many. That's the bottom line. The devil has deceived many, regarding not just my contribution itself and my identity, but also about various things of God and in the world and in society. That's what he's done. And so the only cover for those types of things left now is to continue to embrace him, like to repeat it. Satan, that's what it is. Satan, there's no truth in Satan. You get what I'm saying? Once you expose his lie, he can't do nothing but keep repeating the same lie, you know. But with God, God is the truth. So his truth destroys Satan's darkness and lies. And so God is eternal, and God is God, Alpha and Omega. So you could continuously feed off of God, because God always got something new, always something better, always something good. The satanic entities, that have done this evil to me, they drive and try to keep me in a centralized position to whereas my light couldn't get off, but whether it can be just high enough where they can feed off it, and then they can distort it and then use it for their own motivations or whatever, motives or purposes and intentions. And that's very, very, very disrespectful to me, to say the least, because that's taking away, most of all, the reason it's most disrespectful because it's distorting what God gave me to worship and praise him, you know, and then the completeness, and then it's taking away God's glory. And that's the thing that bothers me the most, regardless of what's said about me personally and all of that. The fact that it's distorting and it's corrupting the image of the incorruptible God, God that can't be corrupted. That's what disturbed me. And see, that's why I was so adamant in my pursuit of what's right, because it didn't stop. And then it's incessant and it's almost taunting, like it's totally irrational, various aspects still doing. And like I say, the perpetuation of it, that's only go drive me to go harder and more, because that it doesn't have the desired effect that which it is probably intended or is assumed to have. I don't know what that is, but the only thing that does for me is drive me and inspires me to go more harder and more persistent with it. The more I can perceive that it continues. And there's various parts, just like in the physical world. We're dealing with lots of aspects of society. Of everything from prejudices, racisms, or from stigmas. And all of these and preconceived notions. And that further play into Satan's idea of reality. And that's what he does. It's just so many. Satan operates in confusion, and with all the abundance of perspectives and perceptions and manipulations and malices and all of these things all amount to his common goal of this persecution. But see, God, Jesus is the light, the opposite of all of that, and truth. And nobody can go to the Father except through him. The Father is the ultimate light. In him there's no darkness. And that's who I put my faith in, even through all of this stuff. I don't feel, what I'm saying? I don't feel like it's over for me, you know. I feel like God is not no liar. I feel like God will, one way or another, he's gonna, and I learned also to not get so caught up, on the struggle that you miss the blessings that's right evident. So that's why I take the time to thank God for everything I do have and where I'm at, instead of just, where I would have been before Satan came, and to destroy my life and read these things. against me when I was totally undeserving of all of it, And these things are definitely realities, man. Like it's a lot to say, you know. But there's even more to say about God though. And I see a light at the end of the tunnel, even through the darkness. Even though the darkness get thick sometimes, you can look through and you can see that little light at the end. That's another key going forward, you know. And that's how I see it. The light at the end is the Lord, and that light is still within you while you going. So my faith unshaken. I'm in no way a bother to nobody. I'm no way, what I'm saying? Like nobody want to know nothing that I do or am doing or am not doing unless it's for espionage. And then you can't trust anything anybody outside looking in because some of that is distorted in itself. So that's true, you know what I mean? I'm so out the way, you know, like I'm so out the way, like as far as like who I am, and like my, what I embrace, what I don't embrace. So there'd never be there wouldn't be a foothold for Satan. So therefore, false accusers and accusations and things like that, that's folly. Already, I guess I don't know whether because I see in society, various. I mean, of course, it's the piece of the puzzle. It's a part of the puzzle, but as far as for like what I'm unclear of, because either it's even more malicious and satanic on top of all of these things to where it tries to kill, my stories before, they surfaced, which will be one of the most even worse, because it's what they're trying to do is make light of a serious situation. And it's multifaceted, and it definitely would be a collusion, you know, if indeed, because that's what it seems like, or it could be a way of actually it ain't too many ways that could be taken. Maybe I just answer my own question. So I mean, because nah, and given the other information that I already had, you know, access to, already perceived and observed regarding just because the one thing I talk about was enablers and things, and enablers always, whether they know it or not, or consciously or subconsciously, give up the motives and intentions of their of whoever controls their mind, you know whoever has them brainwashed. And so that's how you know that that's how because most of the time that's how it is. It's just the fact that it's any kind of effort or anything against God is just abominable. You got some that watchdogs that's sit and and wait to antagonize those that's in the light too. And we on the same team. It's just deep, man. I see the enemy is very busy in these end times, but what we expect, you know, God can't be fooled or played with. Even if, even if all of these things Satan works so on God's anointed, and then as far as like for the people and the masses attempt, to smooth everything out as if, it's all, is the emphasize and everything, it's all good. God is quicken. His spirit is in the earth. He sees all and he knows all. Even everything in secret, he knows. He knows all secrets and everything. So he can see. And he knows the ultimate purpose. And God can't be fooled, nor is he mocked. Because that's a way of mocking God. So in time, regardless of whether a human being forgets it or forget it or not, God doesn't forget it. And he's going to give to every person according to what they've sold. you know Ain't nothing wrong with me pursuing truth and justice for the atrocious things that I have been put through as an artist, as a person, as a human, you know, types of shamings and it's things that I haven't even mentioned, in society, man, that I had to have to persevere through, for I really don't deserve it. It just boils down to whether or not you evil or not. When you evil, then you fine. When you evil, you good. When you evil, then everybody accepts you, loves you, and when you evil, nobody go bother you. You feel me? Not like this anyway. Cause Satan is, come on, all of it go together. But when you try to do right, it's worth it though. It's worth it though. I don't regret nothing. I know the Lord gonna save me. He gonna come save me and those in the light that's in the world that's like me. He gonna save us, and then we gonna get our rewards in heaven on the other side. I'm straight. I'm out of here.